Good evening and salutations, my JH fans. Okay, so Sasha and Jason, they have their nice little moment of Jason feeling the baby kick, Cody in the background, staring like a creep. I'm gonna get to his ass in a minute. But after that, they talk about Michael, and the thing with Jason is Jason's like, I find it very difficult for Michael to just decide he wants to just walk away from his child, right? And I can see that. And Sasha gets super defensive. And Sasha's pretty much like, well, what are you calling me, a liar? I mean, technically, when I first got here, I did lie, but, you know, I lied for things that was important, like a baby, right? So it's like you can see why Jason has his doubts. And he's like, listen, long story short, it's not that I don't believe you or anything like that. I'm not trying to give you a hard time, but he wants to sit there and protect Michael's interest. So he's like, hey, listen, I'll talk to Michael just to confirm your story, because I mean you do have a history of lying. Let's just be honest. And so she snaps at him, but then she's like, well, when you talk to him, if you get a chance to talk to him, tell him that I'm pulling for him. And part of me felt like her whole attitude towards him was out of pocket, not just for her being super defensive, like in general, but this was the guy who literally rushed in a building that was set to explode to save your ass. And you giving him all this attitude, all this sass and everything like that, like, this just seems so extra, right? I also don't understand why after Alexis talks to Diane and tells him that Sam was murdered and everything like that, and she's waiting for the girls to come so she could sit there and tell them. She tells Diane, "Don't tell Jason." Why? Even when Lulu tells Maxie about Sam's murder, and they see Jason, and Lulu's like, "You think I should tell Jason?" And she's like, "No." And I don't understand why they both not telling Jason. I don't get that. That doesn't really seem like that makes a lot of sense to me. They don't say why, they just say no, and I'm very curious of why. Um Brooklyn. Brooklyn wants to sit there and tell Chase um about the baby that she gave up years ago. She's like, the thing is, if I tell him, then I have to sit there and tell him that Dante is the father. So, that was revealed today. And I'm like, okay, we kind of already was hinting at it, so it's not like I was really too surprised. But what I find out of pocket about it is that, she wants to be honest with Chase. Chase has always been honest with her. But I'm like, okay, so let me get this straight. You want to be honest with him, but you've been lying to Dante for years. Years. But you want to sit there and tell Chase, but hey, if I tell Chase, then that means I gotta sit there and tell that, Dante is the father. I'm like, well, that's out of pocket, because you should have been told him. I find that just extremely out of pocket. Um, Brooklyn's not there asking Lois, what should she do? And I'm just like, what? I mean, you imagine how frustrated and mad that he's going to be when he found out that not only did he have a child with her, but she just gave it up for adoption. Didn't even bother to sit there in time. Um, Cody's another person who I'm just, and the thing I find it very interesting. When Cody first got to the show, there was just people that just didn't like him. Like, they just straight up did not like him. It was like, F Cody, he's unnecessary, he's pointless being here. And at the time, I was just like, I don't see the big deal. Like, maybe I was one of those people that was just defending him a little bit just because I felt like people were just kind of overreacting when he first got to town. But I am getting so sick and tired of this man's temper tantrums, right? Molly comes over to give him some papers, and the papers was his release papers or something like that. And Cody just acts like a dick to him, like a dick to her. He's all upset. He starts ranting like, I don't understand. It's not fair. The career criminals in this town get treated like gold, and yet my feet is always held to the fire. It's not fair. And I'm just like, well, life is not fair. It sucks, but you deal with it. Like a grown ass man, not like a 12-year-old little schoolgirl. And so he just, gets upset with her, and he's like, oh, well, you're just here for some sort of scare tactic. And Molly's like, listen, I did this. I brought this down to you personally as a favor for Mac because I always respected him. Then Cody's like, oh, well, then if that's the case, then thank you. And I get it. They're doing this whole chemistry test because God only knows whatever happened to TJ. And yes, I understand that TJ is not on contract, but there's people that's not on contract that's still on the show. So I guess this is what they're doing. Maybe they'll just. I feel like GH could just be lazy at this point and just write him write him off screen or whatever, or write him out the show off screen. Um, I don't know, but anyway, I guess he apologizes something. Maybe I don't know. Um, and then he decides he wants to go and meet Maxie, which I'm just like, are you going to apologize to Maxie when you get there? Now, like I said, Lulu and Maxie were sitting there talking about the whole Sam's death thing and Lulu feeling guilty, because she wouldn't have been in that situation if it wasn't for Lulu's failing liver. But that's just survivor's guilt that's talking. But she also feels guilty because she's still in love with Dante, and Maxie's like, did you tell him yet? Like, how do you sit there and bring something like that up? Now, what I pieced from the conversation between Dante and Chase, Chase is still reeling from the whole being sterile thing, which what I don't understand, when they did the flashback, they had Willow read him the test results. And I'm kind of just like, why wouldn't the hospital give him the test results there? Why is it Willow that's not there reading it to him? Anyway, Dante told Chase about Sam's murder, and, long story short, it's very hard for him to sit there and look at Lulu without thinking about Sam. Um, and, this is just my theory, guess, whatever. This is the reason why he's been so hard on Lulu as far as her pushing herself. It's not just, out of Rocco and everything like that, but also, Sam's sacrifice. She's running into places where bullets are flying, and, she wants to sit there and try to go back, and it's like, hey, listen, how about you spend some time with your son? Because that's what Sam sat there and sacrificed herself for. Or that's why Sam did what she did, so you can have more time with your son. And that's why he's going so hard on her. On her. Um, anyway, he was talking so much that Chase, you know, also didn't get a word an inchwise as far as what he was going through. And he just kind of just bottled it up a little bit. Um, Now, Jason does talk to Diane and tells him about the Michael situation with Sasha. And pretty much, long story short, he just wants to sit there and make sure that her interests are being, his interest is being protected. Um, and Diane's like, yeah, I'll do what I can, but, one, now he cheated, so what I'm saying, like in the court's eyes, it's going to be a little more harder. Two, he waited so long, and it just gives her more credibility. So if it did come to that, where it's like Michael changed his mind, or, in Jason's eyes, wasn't telling the truth, yeah, Diane's gonna do what she can, but it's not gonna be it's not gonna be an easy task. I mean, usually with these court cases, it never is because court cases, courts, they side with the mother, which I have a huge problem with that. In those cases, usually, which, yeah. Um, anyway, Cody eventually gets to the Metro Court, and Spinelli was, and Maxie was like, oh, are you gonna sit there and apologize to Spinelli for being a meanie? And I'm like, I know it's a soap opera, but just say how you feel. He was being an asshole to him. He did sit there and say he was gonna apologize. They get to talking. Long story short, because when he walked in, he looked at Jason. He already has stink eye. Now I'm sitting there looking at him like, all right, bro. Last time you were sitting there looking at somebody with stink eye, you decided you want to start hitting people. You hit Drew because you had a temper tantrum. You hit Lucky because you had a temper tantrum. You go and you try that shit with Jason. You go on and you try that shit with Jason. Ugh. Do that. I think I may have to sit there and save that episode as long as my DVR will allow me to. But he blurts out that Sasha's you know how do I say this? The father of Sasha's child is Jason. Tells both of them right then and there. I'm like, bro, you're an asshole. Because now you're going out there and you're spreading all these lies and rumors and stuff like that. And so, somebody in the comment section, because I had to watch some of this on YouTube and then the rest of my DVR because of the news interruption. But somebody was saying that they're trying to put those two together and they don't like it and blah blah blah. And maybe this is how they get together. I imagine, because of the lie, just to keep up the lie or whatever. Meanwhile, in Germany, which again, I just want to, I even get to that. People thought that when Carly went to Germany, that you just was not going to sit there and see any story with Carly, and they just assumed that Laura Wright was just going to take a break. And then Laura Wright on her Twitter, X, whatever you want to sit there and call it, made a little post promotion to saying like her journey ain't over, whatever. And I guess like the gift or whatever they call it, gift or whatever, she put out this little emoji or whatever. And I think that was like her middle finger for people who don't like Carly and want to see her gone. Like, nah, y'all gonna see me. F y'all haters, y'all gonna see me. You go to her Twitter. You find that post. That's pretty much what she wound up doing. She pretty much was like, bitches, I ain't going nowhere. Anyway, um, he opens the door and Jack, starts kissing on him and stuff. And Carly slows it down. And Carly's like, I don't know if we should really be doing this or whatever. Given what just wound up happening. I thought it was because, her son is like have, third degree burns and she's still kind of emotionally reeling from that. And that might be a reason to like maybe not do the devil's tango right now. But then Jack is like, oh, that I came here just sit there and try to, have sex with you. And I'm kind of just like, well, yeah, I mean, you did just start making out with her. But then he takes her outside and, they have this little fireplace or whatever, and they get to talking about his past and stuff that went on with Valentine and their upbringing and how they were really friends. He initially used Valentine because there were certain things that Valentine had that he didn't have, and he figured if he teamed up with Valentine, it would make him look good and it would make him rise the ranks faster. But throughout that, I guess, using process, they did really become good friends. Up until the point where he tried to kill him. Now, he does sit there and say, and I don't know why he's not there telling her, because I feel like some of this stuff should be classified, or at the very least, you don't need to tell her all of this, that there was a shot that was fired at him, and he didn't order the hit. But, Valentine clearly didn't give him enough time to explain, hey, bro, listen, my security, my secretary, she did that on her own. I had no parts of that. Um, so, there's a miscommunication there. So, yeah, they just pretty much just kind of talk about our history. I mean, his history. It does suck, though. I mean, there was a point. How do I sit there and say this? It does suck. So when they do get there, Alexis tells both of them that, Sam was murdered and everything. And, one of them, I don't remember which one, was like, it's like reliving her death all over again. And it's actually almost kind of worse because it's not so much like it happened by some natural causes or whatever. Like, this was intentional. Um, but there's a point where they almost seem like they're about to start arguing because, you know, um, Mario's like, listen, what can we do to think get justice? I'll sit there, send my best person on it or whatever. And Christina's like, hey, just chill out or whatever. This isn't one of your cases. And I'm kind of just like, I mean, I've said this before, but like, I don't remember them used to actually be at each other's throats like that. I get it's a tense situation, but like, it's like this new retcon where it's like now they've always been like very short fused with each other. The one good thing, that's on the side note, is that at least I'm actually wearing the right hoodie this time. I did my Bold and Beautiful review, still wore this hoodie. So I find it kind of anyway, that's pretty much about it. That's the general gist of it. If I miss anything, write in the comment section below. I'll come to the live stream tonight. I'll be doing a live stream for an hour tonight because since I do have to wake up super early in the morning. But I will be doing it at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. So anything that I forget or any other shows you want to sit there and talk about, as well as Days of Our Lives, Bold and Beautiful, and Young and Restless, as well as General Hospital, come to the live stream tonight, and we'll sit there and talk about it there.